Hi everyone, I'm Reading with Jack and today I'm here to talk about my Bookish and BookTube resolutions for 2015. I'm going to be talking about the things that I want to achieve in terms of my reading, and then the kind of things I want to improve on my BookTube channel, Reading with Jack, and then also one general goal which I am very excited about. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it, but if I do, it's going to be really fun. So the first reading goal I have is my Goodreads challenge. It's something I do every single year and I really enjoy doing it. My goal for 2015 is going to be to read 25 books. I feel like this is a very sensible goal for me and it's a very suitable goal. It doesn't stress me out and I don't have to push myself too much, but at the same time I do need to keep reading and reading a little bit every month. Because I'm very busy with school all the time, some months I don't get a lot of chance to read, but then the next month I might have a little bit more time to read. So it's quite easy if I get behind to kind of get back on track. The second goal I'm going to set for myself is to read 5 classics. Now this isn't actually that many, but if I'm only reading 25 books, I feel like that's going to be my goal for now. And I might achieve more than that, I might read even more. And I'm actually going to do a video about the classics that I want to read this year, probably next week. So I'm very excited for that and I'll be able to talk about them there in a lot more detail. The next few goals are for specific books that I want to read that I kind of procrastinate about reading. And obviously I don't want to procrastinate any longer, I actually want to read these things. The first one is The Name of the Wind by Rothfuss. This is a huge high fantasy novel, but I really want to read it because I love the idea of a kind of coming of age fantasy novel. For me that sounds really unique and I'm really excited to get to know the character Kavoth, I think that's how you say his name, in a lot more depth. I kind of want to throw myself into a fantasy world. I'd also like to read Cutting for Stone by Abraham something. Verghese, how do you say his name? However you say it. Anyway, I got this 2 years ago and I still haven't read it. I'm not sure why, but I kind of want to read it because it's cultural, it's historical. I'll be able to learn a little bit more about African culture in this book. That's not something I usually read about, so I think it's going to be really nice for a change. I'm also going to set myself a goal to read Double Cross by Malorie Blackman. This isn't one that I really seem to procrastinate about because it scares me. It's just because it's the final book in the series and I don't want the series to end, so for some reason I just haven't been reading this. So I need to read this in 2015. I also want to read World After by Susan E. because this series is really good and for some reason I never continued reading the second book even though I had it immediately after reading the first one. So obviously I need to read it. The next goal is quite a general goal and it's to kind of continue to explore a variety of genres, to become more diverse as a reader. I definitely did that in 2014 and I just want to continue doing that more and more, reading genres that I wouldn't normally read, reading books that I maybe haven't initially thought about reading. I just feel like it's really fun to do that and it really excites me because when I read a genre that I'm not really familiar with, I never know what it's going to be like, so it's definitely very unpredictable. The next goal is one that I've been setting for the past few years and to be honest I don't know if I've really fully achieved it. It is to read books at a slower pace without rushing through. I really want to start taking my time on books, to devour them, to take all of the information in. A lot of the time I read the first half of the book fine and I take everything in, but the second half of the book I get really into the book and I start rushing just to get to the end to find out what's going to happen, and then I kind of get confused and lost. I don't want this to be the case anymore, so I'm definitely going to take a little bit more time. Reading is not a race and I'm going to remember that. The ninth goal is to participate in more readathons. I've never done a readathon before, to be honest, which is quite shocking. I should probably do them, and in 2015 I'm going to do more readathons. Particularly in the summer there's always quite a lot and I will have a lot of free time then, so readathons galore. So for my BookTube resolutions, the first one is to make one video a week, and I feel like this is again quite a suitable goal. I kind of made this as a goal last year and I was kind of all over the place. I feel like sometimes I was making one video a week, other times I wasn't making any. Some weeks I was making 2 or 3. I was a little bit inconsistent, so consistency is definitely something I want to improve with. Obviously I am in school, I'm very busy with my homework and revising for my exams, so probably kind of April, May and June I might not be as active. I'll probably talk about that later in the year. But, you know, I'm going to try my best to be consistent. My second BookTube goal is to make more book reviews because I haven't actually done a book review in the second half of 2014. What is this craziness? I'm a booktuber on a book reviewing channel. I need to review more books. I also want to improve my video setup. I don't really want to spend a lot of money on this, but I do kind of want to improve my lighting. I'm not sure if it's very consistent. I don't know if any of you realise, but it's kind of terrible sometimes. It's really bright sometimes, other times it's really dark. I also want to improve camera angles and stuff to make it look more professional. And finally, the last BookTube goal is to make more discussions and more Let's Talk videos. I definitely have a few plans for the ones that that I want to do in January, and hopefully people want to participate in them and share their opinions as well, because I love when people can do that. They can interact with one another, and that's really fun. Okay, so the final goal is my general goal, and this is probably the biggest goal I've ever set, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, but hopefully I will. In summer I have quite a lot of months off school because I will have finished school, and I'll have all of July, all of August off, a lot of September as well. My goal is to write a book about books. In 2014 I read a lot of books about books, and they've actually really inspired me to write my own, and I've come up with a few ideas which might change a little bit, but at the moment it's going to be about 2 different bookstores that are struggling, and they're independent bookstores, and then the kind of bookshop owners somehow join together, and there's kind of a lot of donations to kind of save these bookshops, a lot of campaigns, and it's ultimately the passion of books that save the bookshops. I'm not sure if it's a good idea yet, and I definitely need to develop characterization, but I have a little bit of an idea of the structure of the novel that I want to kind of go for, and I'll probably be planning it in the first half of the year, and I'm thinking of writing it in July, or trying to write it anyway. I know that in July there's Camp NaNoWriMo, which is Camp National Novel Writing Month, and I think that might be a good start to write it then. So I will set that as a goal. I don't know if I'm going to get this done, to be honest, but I'd love to write a book. I think books about books will allow me to express my passions, to express my opinions and my thoughts on the situations regarding books and bookshops. So everyone, those are my Bookish and BookTube goals for 2015. Tell me what you think of them down below in the comments, and equally tell me what your goals are. I'd be really excited to know. But until next time, thank you for watching, and I will see you all again in my next video.